And let's go across to Abhinav Bindra now. Abhinav, I don't know if you've heard, as I said, while you're competing there in Munich, but what's your view as a sportsman of the current fiasco going on over elections for the Indian Olympic Association?
Well, I hadn't been following it until I'm actually in Munich for World Shooting Body's annual meetings, and people from the world came up to me and asked me what's going on in India. You're going to be banned soon. So I was pretty shocked to hear that. I mean, and as an athlete, yeah, it just reiterates the fact that the athlete is the last person on the agenda in India, and that is very unfortunate. We're at a stage where there is a real possibility of a ban that doesn't affect anybody but the athletes, because then the athletes can't compete, represent the country at official competitions, and I think it is just shameful.
Strong words there, Abhinav Bindra. And I remember even when the Commonwealth game issue was going on and various corruption scandals were coming out, many athletes at that time said, look, we need to focus on sport now. We don't want to get distracted by all this. We see now that Lalit Bhanot will be back as Secretary General now of the Indian Olympic Association. Do you think it is time for sportsmen to speak out, to actually get involved in this?
Well, I certainly feel so. I think I have always been very outspoken about my views, and I'm not scared of calling a spade a spade. I mean, the fact is that we need professionals running sport in India. We need people with an absolute clean image running sport in India, and people who are actually absolutely passionate about the development of Indian sport, development of Indian athletes, so that athletes from India can actually progress and win medals at the world level for the country. I think that has to be the priority. That has to be the vision of the people. At the moment, 100% of their time seems to be just used in working out ways on how they can come into power. I think it's extremely unfortunate.
It is, and especially the bit you said coming into power, it almost seems like a mini general election in a sense. And we've seen that now from Team Kalmadi, it's now Team Chautala. What do you think about the virtual political takeover and the very political process of these elections for a sports body?
Well, looking at the structure, I can just say that, I have something to look forward to in my old age. That's all I can say. I mean, I don't know what I know Mr. Chautala has run the Boxing Federation. If he's going to be taking over, I can only hope that he works with the development of Indian sport, development of Indian athletes. The Indian Olympic Association is a very, very important organization in the running of Olympic sports, and I just hope sport in India can progress. We seem to have been making a lot of positive headway in the last couple of years, right, but that unfortunately seems to have stopped at this moment, and Indian sport cannot afford that. Indian sport needs to progress. We have done well in the past, but we have so much catching up to do. We just cannot afford to lose time on such issues. We just need to be focused. We need to have goals. We need to have a vision, and that at the moment, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be quite there.
In fact, many of the politicians I've spoken to, head of these federations, have made the point that, look, you need politicians to run this system. You can't just have professionals, because they won't be able to work the system in a sense. Do you agree with that view, that you do actually need politicians, perhaps because of the clout, perhaps because of their contacts with the government of India, to run sporting federations?
Well, my view on this subject is that there are many aspects of running sport. Running sport is a very, very, very difficult job. And in order to do that efficiently, we need right people at the right post. There's a managerial aspect of sport. There is a performance aspect of sport. The performance aspect of sport has to be completely in the hands of experts, and those experts need to come in and do a particular job, and those experts need to be accountable not just in terms of managing finances, but accountable in terms of getting results. And the same goes towards the managerial aspect of sport.
Right, but the point when you talk about accountability, there's the other huge issue which is being raised is, of course, of corruption, and corruption amongst Indian sports bodies. Now, do you think politicians with charge sheets against them should actually be standing for elections to the Indian Olympic Association at all?
Absolutely not. I think sport is something which has to be away from all of this. Sport is something which is so clean. Sport is something which works with integrity, and with, success in sport is done with hard work, passion, and honesty. And you need such individuals to actually be there right in the forefront. We need sports athletes need sports administrators who we can gather inspiration from. After all, it is one big family, and if somebody heading the athlete that cannot respect the person heading the family, I don't think it's going to be it doesn't end up being a good relationship. Respect has to be won mutually on mutual grounds. If the sports administrators want respect, they have to earn that respect from the athletes. It just won't come to them just because they are people of big, high importance or power. We are not living in that age anymore.
That's interesting. So you're saying it's not about the VIP culture in sport really, but Abhinav, again, you've spoken out so strongly. You're not worried about repercussions, because we've seen often the petty-mindedness in sports federations and often how officials treat sports people. Because, of course, both Mr. Abhay Chautala, who now will be the president of the IOA, and Lalit Phanot, who will be the Secretary General, both of them have charge sheets against them involving corruption.
I'm just giving you my honest views, and I know. I wish Mr. Chautala the best of luck. I certainly would support him in all his endeavors in the Indian Olympic Association. I want Indian Olympic sports to grow. I love Indian sport from the bottom of my being. I'm all for the development of Indian sport. Why should I be scared, or why should anybody have a problem with that? When you look into the mirror with 100% honesty, I think I've not said anything wrong, and I don't think it would hurt anybody who has a little bit of conscience.
Abhinav Bindra, thanks so much for joining us tonight, for being so outspoken. As you said, you love Indian sport with 100% of your being. Can all the politicians, all the people running for Sports Federation elections say the same?
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.